Hi, welcome to Enlightened Maven. We've got Tulsi Gabbard and the nomination, and if she was approved. So, breaking news for that. Senate has just convened today for not only Tulsi, but Robert F. Kennedy. So, we'll take a look at both of those, Tulsi and Robert F. Kennedy. And I might scroll through a little bit because the roll call takes approximately about 15 minutes or so, and there's just a lot of walking around and chatter and whatnot. But yeah, let's get the show on the road. Give me 2 seconds here, and I will get the video pulled up. Here we go. This is what they do, by the way, most of the time. When they're not talking, they're just standing around talking to one another. This is what we pay for, guys. For them to just stand around and wait. Half the time, they don't even have to go into work. Do it from home. Or just choose not to show up. So right now, the timer is off. This is the unofficial tally. It's 51 yays to 48 nays. And to get the nomination and to be secured, you just have to have more votes. Like
Mr. Hawley, aye.
All right, Mr. Hawley just said aye, so we just got another yay. So we're at 52-48. And they should be just about wrapping it up now. When they do, the president of the chair committee will go ahead and announce the determination, and then they will send the information up to the president. And this is for Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii to be the director of national intelligence. Okay. Here we go.
Yeas are 52, nays are 48. Nomination is confirmed.
All right.
Under the previous order, the motion to reconsider is considered, made, and laid upon the table, and the President will immediately be notified of the Senate's actions.
Mr. President, I move to waive the mandatory quorum with respect to the Kennedy nomination.
Is there objection? Without objection. The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion.
Okay, so what they're doing right now is for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It has been open for discussion and debate since his nomination, and that's basically what they were doing last week, is they were having discussion and nominations for Robert F. Kennedy. And several of the senators moved to end that discussion and go ahead and vote, but they elected to bypass the quorum to have a discussion prior to the vote, which they have a right to do, and they have a right to skip it, or they have a right to go directly into the voting. So we're going to be going right into the voting. This isn't live anymore. I mean, they are still doing live, but I'm not watching the live version. I wasn't aware that they were doing it early this morning. I'm going to start paying more attention. But in just a moment, they're going to start voting. You'll see the timer running. I'll skip through most of it. You can see the yays and the nays, but we don't need to sit here for 15 minutes. So
We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close debate on the nomination of Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. of California to be Secretary of Health and Human Services, signed by 17 senators.
By unanimous consent, the mandatory quorum call has been waived. A quorum is present. The question, what you want to do? The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the nomination of Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. of California to be Secretary of Health and Human Services shall be brought to a close? The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsobrooks, Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Banks, Mr. Barrasso. Aye.
we're going to skip through a little bit.
Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer, Mr. Crapo, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ossoff.
Yeah, they have to
Moreno,
manually call out everybody's
Mullen,
names, so that's why we're going to skip through. I don't know about you, but I don't want to watch 15 minutes of them just shouting people's names. All right, so they got 5 minutes left. We're at 29:22 for invoking the cloture on the nomination. 34:27 with a minute and a half. We're sitting at 39:29. It looks like it's over, so he should be announcing it at some point here. Look, y'all, we got enough money to just sit around on the floor and not do anything. This is how our taxpayer money is being spent. This is nuts. You guys get paid lots and lots and lots and lots of money. And you guys are just sitting around, hanging out, chit-chatting. This is how they spend our money.
Mr. Hickenlooper, no.
Nope, we're up to 30 no's. Not sure why we're still tallying when the timers ran out, but they did this for Tulsi as well. I thought the whole point of giving a timer was to hard stop it, so we're not waiting all dang day.
Mr. Kelly, no. Mrs. Moody, aye.
Where are these individuals that they're voting? Because I don't see all the senators there. So that's a little confusing. So I don't want to speed it up too much because the president should start talking here at some point to let us know when it's done.
Mr. Langford, aye.
Just don't understand what's taking so long. If anybody knows why they're doing it this way, drop a comment. That would be cool.
Mr. Wicker, aye. Mr. Cassidy, aye.
I want to skip ahead, but geez. All right, let's try just a little bit at a time here.
Thank you.
44:39. Jeepers, Jiminy Crickets. $45, $42, $47, $43. We should be just about done. $47, $46, $49, $46, $49, $47, $50, $47, $51, $47. Yeah, we can look up who the yeas and nays are tomorrow. I'm not gonna listen to all of them. They will have them posted though. Should be just about fracking done.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. of California to be Secretary.
Mr. President.
Senator from Oregon, sorry.
Mr. President, as we begin this discussion that is so important to America, I thought I would just mention the conversation I had recently with a couple of young medical students who came up to me and said, so important.
Oh, goodness. I'm trying to find the end here where the president starts talking. That's the president of the United States. Guys, mind you, president of the Senate.
On this vote, the yeas are 53, the nays are 47. The motion is agreed to. The clerk will report the nomination.
Department of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. of California to be Secretary.
Mr. President.
Senator from Oregon, sorry.
All right, so basically they agreed to stop the discussion on Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and just go directly into the votes. However, you have this senator here who wants to add more information after they just said that they weren't gonna do it anymore. And I'm sure they're gonna let him continue.
Mr. President, as we begin this discussion that is so important to America, I thought I would just mention the conversation I had recently with a couple of young medical students who came up to me and said, you know, we know you're interested in health care and have been involved in this, and I'm so appreciative of Senator Murray, who's going to
health care is my thing too, by the way,
the
guys.
health care issue, an area where she has very substantial experience and expertise. And I thought these medical students summed up this debate because they said, the way we see this Kennedy nomination, it's not just a vote for next week or even next year. This is a vote with enormous impact for decades because Mr. Kennedy, according to these young students, these young medical students, has a long record of essentially being anti-science. And what
anti-science is another talk that we're going to talk about some other time. Not everybody in science is going to agree. They've never agreed. There was a time in our history in which science wasn't even allowed. Alchemy wasn't allowed. It was against the church. It was against religion. You weren't allowed to practice it. You weren't allowed to talk about it. There was once upon a time when women couldn't practice medicine. Individuals of color couldn't practice medicine. Science adapts. Okay? There are theories. It's a separate topic in and of itself. Okay? Different scientists have different views. There are different views on COVID. There are different views on vaccinations. Just because somebody doesn't believe in the science that you've researched does not necessarily mean that the science that they're researching is wrong. Okay? Everybody has a difference of opinion, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily wrong. Okay. I'm not going to listen to him sit here and spout a whole bunch of nonsense or not nonsense or nonsense or not nonsense. I don't really care. I just want to see what the vote comes out to be. But it looks like we're just going to keep chit-chatting. These must be closing statements. And I don't know that we're going to get to the vote because, yeah, that's the end of the video.
2,700 illegally in the country that were convicted of more than 3,800.
Because that's live right now. So we don't have the ending for RFK. Hopefully we have that today. But you saw Tulsi's. Yeah. So is what it is. And I'll have another video for you guys shortly. And yeah, congratulations, Tulsi Gabbard. Y'all have a wonderful day.